Hello, my friends. I am back today for drawing number 7 for Inktober. And just as a reminder for those of you who are following, I am a few days ahead of everybody, so just keep that in mind as you're working on your project. So what I've got here is an image that I'm going to use as reference for what I want to draw today. So I'm really intrigued by those gills. I just love that pattern, just the way it kind of lines up. And I'll show you another one here that looks really nice. What I'm going to draw today is not going to look exactly like this one, maybe more like this one here, where the gills really fade out to the edges. So I would like to do that, so let me set that aside. And I will admit that because this one's a little bit daunting, I have tried a pattern like this before, and it is a little difficult. I am going to use a pencil for this one, so that way I can erase or kind of move things around as I play with this. So let me pick a spot here on this paper, and I'm thinking I'm just going to start with an outline of the shape of this mushroom here. And so let me just make the shape like that. I think right there, at least, that part's important because I know that that's the foundation, kind of the base. But I think I'm going to adjust my pencil line a little right here. This one isn't exactly the way I want it, so let me expand it a little, maybe outward like this. Okay, so this is a little better, I think. So now that I've got this, I'm thinking that what I want to start with is just making a few basic lines that are kind of radiating out from that base. So let me see if this works. So I want them to be a little squiggly like this. I suppose I could draw them straight, and maybe I could do that when I draw another one. So like this. Maybe I'll draw one here that's not connected, so just heading outward like that. And I'll just keep going around like that. So here's another one like that. And maybe here I'll have these connected, that's fine. And one right here. And let's see here. I think this looks pretty good. I am going to switch back to my pencil. So as I draw these, I'm going to do it this way. So let's see. These, I'm going to add these shapes here. So starting here, just like this. So it's kind of round at the top, but then it just kind of heads down and connects at the bottom. And I'm going to attempt to do that. So let me add one on this side, heading down, and then I just kind of close them off. But I know they don't all behave the same way, so let me see. Let me draw one here that's shorter, and here one that's shorter, because they are all different lengths. So let me try doing that. I'll make them kind of short and then long and then short and long. Let's see, a little one, a longer one. I think that looks pretty good. And a nice tiny one, and just kind of head down like that. Okay, so maybe another one heading down. And again, I'm just trying to vary the lengths, just doing my best. I have this gap here. I'm just going to color it gray a little bit for now. We'll see if I can do something with that later. So let me just work around here. Let's see, what can I do here? So let me go down this one side like this. And I think this time, instead of connecting all the way to that point, I'm going to just head back up and connect to the top like that. I'm just trying to do what I'm observing in the reference photo is really what I'm trying to do. So short then long. So just a little short one and then a long one, and I'm kind of alternating that way, just doing my best. I'm not really looking for it to look exactly like my reference. I'm just trying to catch I suppose the essence of it. That's the way I might think about it here. Again, and it's also because I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just trying to catch a little pattern. So let me stop right there. Let's see if I can add a few more here. So a shorter one, maybe a longer one, just kind of alternate. And I think as I head around the edge here, I'm going to change the way they curve a little. Let's see if I can do that. Kind of like that. I think that should be okay. Alright, so you kind of get the gist of it. I'm just going to work my way around using the pencil. I feel like I could probably switch to the pen right now, but I think it's really important to use my pencil to really get the hang of some of these lines. It's fine to experiment, just try things out. If you are happy just going with your pen, go ahead. Go ahead and do that. It's not a problem. You know, I just usually when I'm really invested in a design or a pattern, if you want to call it that, I really want to test things out with a pencil. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's perfectly fine. And also to use reference photos, of course. Get inspired by the things you see in nature or just in the just beautiful things around you. So that's what I'm doing right now. Let's see, just gonna go around, maybe make a long one here, like that. I'll start making a couple of short ones. And just see if I can find different ways of connecting them. I think this looks okay so far. Let's see, right here and right here. Those right there don't really look the way I would like them to look, so I might actually change something there later, I think. Let me just finish doing the pencil lines for these here. Just gonna fit them in there. Like that. I think that looks okay, and then just a few more on the edge there. Again, that's why it's perfectly, it's good for me right now. I'm using the pencil just because I'm not sure. Okay, so there, I think this is a pretty good start. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use my pen right now, and I am going to speed this up so that you can see me do the line work with the pen just a little bit faster. Okay, and I am going to add a little bit as I do these lines with the pen now. And for reference, this is a 0.5 pen, so it is a little bit on the larger side, I would say, for what I'm doing here. But again, I'm just experimenting. You'll see that I am moving some of the lines. I did not like where they were, so I changed them. And so I'm just going through and adding these. And again, this is just, I'm trying to find other ways to kind of say this, but when you're experimenting, or at least when I am, it's so important to just try something different out. I'm not entirely comfortable with what I'm drawing right now, but I'm still wholeheartedly just approaching it and going at it and seeing what comes of it. It may not be what I wanted it to be, but I still think that this is fun, and it's nice to see what happens, what comes out at the end. So here I'm back to kind of a regular speed. And here I'm just adding the last few lines. Just kind of closing up that little bit there. Okay, so there we go. And I think this looks better. I'm starting to notice something now that there's ink in here, something I'm thinking of doing here. So let me just finish removing these lines out here at the end. You'll notice that what I did is I did not ink in those little curves on the very edges. I did not ink those in. I kind of just stopped at the edges. And so I could have inked them in and it would have looked nice too. I feel like I just wanted the edges to stay open. So now I'm switching to a 0.1. It's a smaller pen, and what I'm thinking of doing is just first adding a new outline. I think that should be nice and easy. I'll just go around the edge like this. Give it a new outline. There we go. All right. Just because I noticed that in all those mushrooms, there's this little edge there that kind of like a little lip that curls, and it always looks white. So that's what that's for. And so what I'm doing here is I'm using my pen to just add this darker area here. So right at the base, maybe I shouldn't call it the base, but kind of that point where the lines kind of connect. So around those areas and heading outward, I'm just making those lines a little bit more bold right there. Not out to the very edge, but just towards the center where they're connecting. Or right here, just a little bit like that. I know that a few of the lines I did there were already more bold, so I'll just kind of have to deal with that and just leave it be. But I'm adding ink pretty much to every line. So you can see that right here. Just making it a little more bold. Just at the base. And just adjusting it slowly. see this one right here. Just gonna add a little more. And what I'm hoping is that it's going to make it look like there are these sort of deeper channels toward the center there. At least that's what I'm hoping. And so I'm just going to keep adding these. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just, again, speed it up just a little bit so that it goes by just a little faster. So here we go. So as I'm adding these lines, these darker lines, my hope is that by making it darker, that I am making it look like the deeper parts are even deeper. At least that's what I'm hoping. And so I'm just going to go through all the lines. I am having to be a little careful so that I don't go all the way out to the edge. I noticed I kept trying to do that. I got really, really close to the edges sometimes, and I thought, no. My idea here was that the lines are bolder and thicker towards the center, and they get just kind of really narrow, really thin, heading out. That's the idea, at least. That's what I'm testing out right now. I think it's working out fairly well because this is a proof of concept. It's just really, I'm just trying to get the hang of it. But here's what it looks like right now, and I did add those bolder lines, and I think it really did help. I think it made it look a little less flat. Your eyes might be having a hard time adjusting just because I know it's almost equal parts black and white in the drawing right now, so it is a little hard to kind of focus. Let's see, so I'm just going to fix the lines a little. Just add a few more as well, just because there was this little gap there. But so far, I think it's fairly close. Maybe not exact, but I think the idea is there. And it looks pretty good, so I really like it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to hop off, and I won't be recording the next part. But I do want to try to maybe add a little bit of shading. Just like what it's got here. Maybe add some shading, see if that helps a little, and then probably add another one or a few more just to see what happens. And I will be back in just a second. All right, so here we go. I added just a tiny bit of shading just to see how that would look, and I think it is helping. It's pretty nice. You can see that I added a second one here. Let me turn it around. You can see that there's two of them now, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So this was it was a nice little project. For now, I'm not able to finish the drawing, but I will come back to it later, and I'll share with you all in a separate video how it came out. Thank you for joining me today. Have a good one. Bye.